Steve, what are you doing?
Oh, wait, I was just finishing up my workout. This is a cool down. I usually have about 4 plates on each side. Feeling good. I'm ready for the show. Everybody, my name is Steve Araujo. I am not Mark Seal. Mark Seal has moved this show to Wednesdays. This is Beyond 11. Guys, sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry. Beyond 11, 3 to 4 p.m. every Thursday. Check it out. I get to talk to my good friends, people in the music industry. We get to geek out on gear, and we especially have you commenting, asking questions. We love that because we love when we interact with our audience. So I think Beyond 11 will start right now. All right, everybody, I am Steve Araujo, and I am so stoked to have my good friend, ridiculously talented, and someone I could nerd out with on gear for days, Mr. Alex Bailey. Yes. Man, I am so happy to have you here, man. I seriously thank you very much. I think the first time we played together, you played drums, and I was playing bass. And I would have been a lot more self-conscious because I found out that you were tour with Marcus Miller. Which anybody that doesn't know, Marcus Miller is literally the GOAT. One of. Like for me, Jocko, Marcus, Ray Brown. For me, that's my holy trinity.
You got to put James Jamerson in there.
Jamerson, sorry.
Yeah.
That's my quartet.
There we go. All right.
My holy quartet.
There, there it is.
But when I found that out, we went deep.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just fantastic. And for one, I love the way you play drums.
Thank you, man.
And then, I mean, just such good feel. And, you know, there was something I could definitely tell, like, man, he just kind of knows the bass or where. I could just tell. It was really fantastic. And then we started going down the bass rabbit hole. I got your CD, which his CD right here is incredible. We are going to be giving one of these away. Actually, you brought a couple. So we're going to give one away this week, and I think next week too. So
why not?
Fantastic. I listened to it, I watched him play, and I was just blown away. So, man, just thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So what came first, the drums or the bass? Or piano, or because you're a composer, you play a lot of different instruments.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
There was a pink tennis racket, just like the shirt.
Okay.
I don't know whose tennis racket it was.
How old were you?
About 4 and a half, 5 years old.
Okay.
It was a pink tennis racket. And the bass player in my dad's band at the time had, was it a Steinberger? The headless four-string bass?
Yeah. Now, what did your dad play?
My dad's a pianist. Incredible pianist.
Okay.
And Mr. Vinoy had this white 4-string headless Steinberger. And so I told my mom, I was like, can you take this pink tennis racket?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And can you make it look like Mr. Vinoy's bass? Right? So I came home one day, my mom got the cardboard. She went to work, man. And I came home.
Cut it up, made it look square.
Just,
or rectangular.
Yeah, with the like angle kind of thing. And I came home and all I did was this, right? Then after that, my brother got some drumsticks and I was like, they look better in my hands.
Got it.
And I continued like multiply his drumsticks, and
wow,
that's what we call breaking sticks, multiply.
Yeah, that's what you call it. So multiply sticks.
Like
obviously,
this one is going to be multiplied probably today,
soon,
actually.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
And so that's like age 6 or 7-ish?
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Yeah, I'm going to say the ear ringing started at like 6, pots and pans. So yeah, right around there, 5, 6. Yeah.
Now, did you get a real bass or a real drum kit first?
Ooh. Here you go.
Okay.
I didn't technically get a bass, if you will. I could actually say this. I didn't actually get a bass until high school.
Oh, wow.
But I always played whatever my brother had. So he got a bass, and he got one from the school. So, of course, when he goes to sleep, just making sure nobody looks.
And we're talking double bass, upright bass, acoustic bass.
All electric.
We're talking. All electric, sorry.
Yeah. I didn't actually touch the upright until high school.
Okay.
And I felt like it was a superpower. It was weird. It was like.
There's something about it.
Yeah.
There's that. It's almost like when you're playing an SVT with an 810. It's that absolute power. It's like boom, because there's so much girth to that.
Yeah. And you have to play it. Like you can't.
No.
Like if you do that, like violin,
no,
you don't play bass.
You have to. Niels Horsett, NHOP, Ray Brown.
Yes.
Oscar Pettiford.
Paul Chambers, all those
Chambers.
guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the double bass, there was no amp. So you had to actually, the Doghouse.
Yeah, exactly that.
You had to really play it, and it was super physical.
Yeah, and you're playing with drummers who want to play loud and horn players on drugs. So you have to be able to control that entire
People like that Tony Guerrero guy. Oh,
I feel like I've heard that name before.
Yeah, he's not very well known.
Oh, okay.
We love Tony. Tony was on the show. Hey, we have some people that comment. Nando Viz, hey, ready to rock, Steve, right on. Sebastian Pierini, guitar practice skills we should all be doing. Nice. I think the guitar practice skills were me trying to lift
if you can get the bar,
a 10
you can
pound
play the
bar.
guitar. Oh!
Boom.
Okay, there it is.
I love it.
Boom.
So then in high school, so how about, because I think both of us talk, where education is such an important thing.
Huge.
And I always say it, I know my audience, they're going to get sick of it, but that saying knowledge is good is such a stupid statement because it's so obvious. So to me, that, learning your instrument, being able to speak that language with fellow musicians. And there's literally one way to do it, one way to learn. I mean, Tab can do stuff. Letters with, charts with words and letters can do it, but it doesn't give you musical information. So where did you go down the actual education rabbit hole?
That is a great question. So first of all, I come from a family of educators, smart people and educators. Okay. All right. My dad has a degree in music theory. Nice. Like just of all the degrees, he picked that. Wow. Right. So it's kind of serious.
In theory, that's heavy.
Then my father-in-law actually has his, I believe, master's in music education. Wow. So it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. Right around middle school, we were living in Kentucky. Now, can I tell this story?
Of course, yes.
I'm gonna get this. Everybody has that one story, all right?
I love it.
So, my brother was going to a youth performing arts school, and my middle school was attached to his school.
Okay.
The percussion director at that school would teach the percussionists in middle school. Okay. This is good, all right? So, my music reading wasn't that good, all right? This is 7th grade, wasn't that good. It was okay, right? You kind of read this and that and the other, but I wasn't like fully invested because in my eyes, I was learning how to play.
Sure.
Okay. So there was this kid, I'm not gonna say his name, Chad. I'm not gonna say his name.
Oh,
right?
Chad.
But Chad said to me once, I'm not gonna say his name. He said, well, you're not gonna go to Berkeley College of Music. I know you wanna go, but you're not gonna go. I was like, what are you talking about? So, well, you can't read music. You're not going. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, we're all going because we can read music. We take this thing seriously. You're not going. All you can do is play. He said that. All you can do is play. It's like, all right. Okay. Now, that was 7th grade. From 7th grade until my senior year, I started to notice the idea of passing this information down, right? In any kind of realm, education is important because if you want the kids to be good at it, you got to tell them it's important. So you teach them. We teach them math, teach them science, teach them English, and all this other stuff. So we might as well teach them music, right? So I started taking that education part seriously, right? Started to getting into jazz, started getting into rock, just everything. Even like the science of like drum heads and rims and like all of this stuff. I'm like really diving into it. I'm not going to Berkeley College of Music though, right? You ready for this, Steve?
Okay.
All right, this is August of 2006. Can you tell I've been waiting to tell the story?
I like this.
All right, perfect.
Wow.
All right, August 2006. I'm in my dorms and someone says, you ever heard of this thing called Facebook? It's like, Facebook sounds like a waste of time. It's like, you should check it out. Like, fine. So I get on Facebook and I start finding a bunch of people and I'm like, I wonder if, so I was that guy. You ready? I go on Facebook, tap. Find Chad. Like, hey, Chad, how you doing? All right, so we're messaging. Like, hey, Chad, this is what I said. Where are you? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm looking for you. I don't see you. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? Well, you told me I wasn't coming to Berkeley, but I'm here. I'm just, I want to be amongst my buddies. Chad, where are you? Oh, man. Now, the reason why I tell that story is because education is so important to me that I would not have actually gotten to that point had I not been educated. If I didn't learn how to read, thank you, Chad, by the way. If I didn't actually learn how to read, if I didn't take this stuff really seriously, I wouldn't have actually been able to take advantage of the opportunities as they came. And I tell all of my students that. I'm like, man, anybody that says you can't do something, do it.
So Chad was that spark.
Chad was the spark.
You can't do it, and you, well,
yeah.
we'll show him. That's awesome.
So, still didn't see him though.
Yeah, you know, well, so you went to Berkeley College of Music. Now, what years were those?
I got there fall of 2006.
Okay.
I'm acting like I'm old. Fall of 2006, and I graduated spring of 2011.
Nice.
Yeah, I did a 5-year program.
That's great.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where you probably met so many people.
Dude.
And everybody is like-minded. You know, that's when people ask, you know, what should I do to get into this? Should I go to a music school? It's like, yeah, you know, or at least get into a community college where you're around peers.
Yeah.
You know, you're around people that have your same, you know, the same interest. Whether it's, I mean, music is the umbrella.
Yeah.
You'll meet bass players, you'll meet drummers, you'll meet people that you'll become friends with, and maybe have a band, maybe jam or whatever. So, like, the connections that you made at Berkeley were probably just, I mean, incredible.
Man, there's 2 ways to look at that. And my dad taught me this. He said, any industry is all about relationships, right? You develop your relationships. I remember my dad would look at like presidential elections, and then he'd say, now, notice who's getting these chairs and, you know, and the judges and Supreme Court. Just pay attention. Or you start tracing back that this person met that person in college, and this person used to play basketball, like all those things. So I took that to heart. Went to Berkeley, and when I actually moved to Los Angeles, right, I'm already nervous, you know, like, oh my gosh, everybody's here. And then I walked into a jam session, and I'm like, wait a minute, you live here too? Wait, you live here? You live? And it was like a reunion, you know,
cool.
like that whole idea, even, you know, playing with Marcus Miller, that was just like, hey, good to see you again, like that sort of thing.
It's kind of instead of a familial nepotism, friendly nepotism, you know, who you know. So, all right, we have some questions, and let's see, from Franco, what do you guys think is the most important aspect of a bassist's role in a band?
Most important aspect of a bassist's role. The bass player is the glue between the rhythm and the harmony.
Because we do both.
We do both.
Bass players do both.
We
Rhythm
do
and
both.
harmony.
You've heard people say, I just play root and 5. I've heard people say, I just play root and 5, and when I want to be cute, I'll play a 7, right? But root and 5, and we have to have that rhythm to bridge the drummer to everybody else. Otherwise, the music sounds weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
So we are the, and we kind of hear everything.
We do.
We hear, bass players hear everything.
Good and the bad.
Yeah, the good and the bad.
Nando
Viz, how was playing in Abu Dhabi? Best part? Thanks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fernando, yeah, man.
Wow.
I like that.
Abu Dhabi, that was an
this?
interesting
When
one.
was
This would have been 2014?
2014, okay.
Yeah, this was really fascinating. It was my first time in that particular region. And we were house band at a club, kind of like what I used to do in Vegas.
Okay.
Was doing that in Abu Dhabi. And I think the first time we got there, we played for the ambassador.
Wow.
And it was kind of one of those things. Here's the crazy part. Maybe about 4 or 5 years later, my oldest son gets a video game, loves cars, playing a video game. And one of the tracks was in Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So I tell him to pause the game. Of course, he tried to beat me up. Like, dude, I'm in the middle of a game. Like, we know you're going to win. Chill out. And I was telling him, I was like, that hotel that this racetrack is going through is where I spent 6 weeks playing every night.
Wow.
It was Yaz Island.
Okay.
And was it the Viceroy? The Yaz Viceroy Hotel.
Wow.
We were a part of a house band there.
Man.
And that was insane.
For how long?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
And I
it
bet they
long.
took care of you.
It was long.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was cool. Unfortunately, I don't think they exist anymore, but it was cool.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. Chase rhythm plus harmony. Nice description. Yeah, for sure. Peter, bass players are the timekeepers. Well, everybody should be a timekeeper. Everybody
should,
but they are not usually.
Exactly.
I think everybody, like, for me, when I hear a guitar player that can play really good subdivisions, I love it.
Wayne Krantz.
Yeah, Wayne Krantz. Yeah, or just rhythm. Like when they have good rhythm and they're listening and they're playing, and instead of just kind of, and it's a comping thing too. It's like, but if they're comping those subdivisions well, that's where I get, oh yeah, okay, this guy has good.
Yeah.
If they don't, then I don't know if you have that feeling.
You know what? Here's the thing about bass players and playing bass in relation to what you're saying. With subdivisions, everything is relative to who you're playing with, right? That is, you can practice with a metronome until you're blue in the face, but until you are playing with living and breathing human beings, you actually won't know. Yeah. And if you notice, bass players are usually the ones, like you said earlier, that are paying attention to everything, right? Because a drummer can actually be in their own world, right? Guitar players, we love you to death. You're usually in your own worlds, right? You know, usually piano players are off somewhere else, and vocalists, you know, they have this perception that everything is about them, right? So a bass player actually has to listen to everything and then put them all together.
Yeah. And I think playing live is so important. That's, like you said, you can be in your room shedding 8 hours a day, metronome, play a hand and exercise. I mean, you could have all that down.
Yeah.
But when you play live, something changes because, for one, your body, the way your adrenaline, you worry, like stage time is so important so that you're not sweating when stuff goes wrong.
Right.
I mean, every gig has a Spinal Tap moment.
Right.
No matter what. And the more prepared you are for this thing just going, and you just go, oh, okay, cool, it'll get fixed. Let's go. And the audience usually doesn't know. The musicians will know way before the audience, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, but playing live is so important.
You have to have real life experiences for everything, right?
And I think
especially with music.
I think you learn more from the mistakes you make.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Because honestly,
you have to.
Playing it live will actually show you if you can play it or not.
Yeah. And then next time you'll get a little better. A little better, a little better. Hopefully. Hopefully you will. Sometimes you can't, but that's why you just have to keep doing it, playing live. So
you got to.
Speaking of playing live, can we play your bass? Can we check out what you brought?
But of course.
Yeah, let's check it out. You play. So you play, this is a Lakeland.
Yay.
And this is like a J style, a J5, 5-string. And now, do you play exclusively 5 strings, or do you play 4s too?
I don't. I grew up playing 6 strings.
Oh.
I grew up playing in church, and late 80s going into the 90s, if you didn't have a 6-string Ken Smith, you didn't play bass.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you have one? Did you have a Ken?
Of course not.
No.
I had my brother actually gave me, it was a 6-string Ibanez.
Yeah, those are great.
And it was another one of those stories. I used to show up to all these churches and people would look at my bass and be like, because I was kind of skinny back then.
Yeah.
Still skinny.
Still skinny.
No.
Still skinny. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like scrawny little kid with a 6-string bass, and people were like, oh man, look at that violin on his back. Oh, what you gonna do? You gonna play that violin? I'm just like, you know what?
Here you go. Take this.
And
yeah.
I mean, man, and literally after every show, people was like, dude, what kind of bass is that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a violin. It's like, no, seriously, like, what's in there? It's like, oh, just, stock.
It's a bass.
Just a bass and some strings, wood. And that actually taught me touch, right? Like actually getting the sound out of your fingers, right? In order to get the sound to go through the microphones that we call pickups and all of that stuff. Yeah. Those moments taught me that.
I mean, it's all acoustic energy. It starts acoustic energy.
Yeah.
Then it gets translated, whether it's a double bass. And when we say double bass, we mean double bass, upright bass, acoustic bass. That's nomenclature.
Bass.
So just so you guys know. So and touch, and that's such a great point that you could give that bass to 5 different bass players. It's going to sound 5 different ways. No, go ahead. but it is really funny. I worked at Kerry Nordstrand's for a while, and we could always tell who was playing bass. They're like, everybody was a bass player. We're like, oh, that's Kerry. Oh, that's Stuart. Oh, that's because everybody has a different touch, which is great. I think it's amazing. Yeah. It's a really cool thing. So, anyways, let's see, Guitar Chad. You never realize how much a really good bass player is in a band until you get one.
There you go.
Yeah, I was lucky to play with about 3 different ones that added so much to the music versus a guitarist playing bass following just the root notes. It's true. Well, the other thing too, as bass players, we always have to play. We're always playing. We're not resting. Gannon Arnold, you know Gannon?
I do.
He says a funny story that he was playing with Joe Walsh.
Yep.
Joe had him play bass, and Drew Hester was on drums. I believe that's the right story.
Okay.
So killer band.
Yeah.
And Gannon's playing, and then he stopped.
Whole thing fell apart.
And Gannon's a monster guitar player. Like he's so good. And I think Drew was like, dude, you have to play. And he's like, oh, okay, hold on. So bass players are always playing. Something, whole notes, half, whatever, a groove. So we're always playing. So I keep talking. I want to hear you play a little bit, man.
No, right.
That's it. Cut. That's a wrap. We'll see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.
We said roots and fives.
But your approach is like 5-string. You have a 6. So, So you moved over to a 5.
Yeah. Long story short, my trusty Ibanez, it just died.
It died.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And so my brother, who's an amazing bassist, sold me a Fender Jazz.
Nice.
And I played it, and I felt like I started seeing colors. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, my primary basses, pretty much with the exception of like the last couple of years, my primary basses have been 5 strings.
Got it.
And
Jazz style.
Jazz
style. 2 jazz pickups. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, what I really like about it is it gives me this whole concept of traditional bass playing with 4 strings. So I actually have to be very selective in how I use the 5-string.
Okay.
Right? It's kind of one of my things that separates me from a lot of other bass players, is that in creating a song, let's do one of our favorite 4-chord formats in C. Right? We do that all day long. Now, theoretically,
5.
Now, how many people are actually going to play that?
Yeah.
Because most kids, if you will, or someone who's learning the bass, they're going to go and pick up a 4-string. They're going to like, why is
They're going to play it up.
Higher. Yeah.
So
they're going to do what they can. So whenever I do play that B string, or for me B flat, I have to be
down a half step.
It is.
Oh, nice.
It is. That's a whole other thing.
Got it.
So when I'm approaching that, I'm thinking it's got to be a movement that's very special. If I'm going to go all the way down there, and that way it's like, all right, it's not a regular thing, it's a special thing. And today you get the B flat string, like that sort of thing.
Got it. Are all your basses tuned down a half step?
Yeah.
Everything. So you're just used to that. You can transpose it up a whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can go from 4 to 5 regular tune, but anything messing is like, it just tweaks me out.
Yeah. I almost think of it, and this is the whole idea of playing the bass, which is why bass is so cool.
Yes.
Everything on it is symmetrical, right? So let's say you don't necessarily learn your notes, which you should. It's very important.
We talk about that all the time. Learn the notes. It's easy. B and C, E and F, half step. Everything is a whole step.
There
Fill
you
in the
go.
blanks. That's all you have to know to find any note. Thank you.
There you
Okay,
go.
sorry. I will
Boom.
stop preaching. I will stop preaching. Learn your notes, people.
Amen,
all right.
brother.
Yes.
So, everything on this bass is symmetric. Every string, every fret, everything. That's my only thing about the guitar. Is just like when you get to those top 2
that
strings,
B
like,
is weird.
Why?
So everything is in fourths.
Everything is in fourths everywhere.
Yeah.
So for me, when I started, for me it was like getting into jazz. Like when I really started getting into straight ahead, from an electric perspective, I just didn't feel like tuning the bass up. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna learn it this way.
Wow.
And it just stuck. Now if I pick up a bass tuned in naturals, I'll figure it out. And it doesn't take long because I'm thinking in terms of patterns, chord changes, like that sort of thing.
1, 6, 5,
exactly.
whatever it is.
Because once you know one was it 1, 4, 6, 5, 1, 5, 6, 4,
whatever,
6, 4, all of those, right? And you can do that pretty much on any bass.
Sure.
You'd be good to go.
Let's see. Peter has a question. Can you be a bass player and have an ego? Of course. You can be any instrument and have an ego, right? I mean, yeah.
You kind of need one.
A bit.
Ish.
A bit-ish.
If you're gonna like command the lower register of a band of the music, you gotta really play. So we're more talking about confidence, like having the confidence to hit those notes.
And there's a fine line. Yeah, confidence, not ego. I mean, if you want to, we were just talking Anthony Jackson. If you want to see somebody with that just beautiful, I want to say beautiful arrogance. It's just
that's just an extreme level of confidence.
Yeah, it's a beautiful confidence.
Passion even.
It's passion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read this article with Gerald Veasley where he was out in all Syndicate, played with a lot of people. Gerald Veasley, check him out, YouTube him. He had an article about the 3 evil E's: ego, entitlement, and envy.
Yes.
And those are the three that you have to kind of have in check all the time.
Ego, entitlement,
and envy. Those are the three evil E's. It was a really great article in Bass Player magazine back in the day, and that article just stuck with me.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
you know what? I got a funny Gerald Veasley story.
He's so good.
You ready for this?
And playing a 6-string Ibanez.
Right?
Yes.
So wait
Look
a
at
minute.
it. It goes full circle, man.
I love it.
It goes full circle.
Oh man, check this out. All right, you ready for this? Do you know the bass player's name is? He goes by Mono Neon.
Yes, of course.
Right, incredible bassist. Well, Mono Neon and I were playing with this guitarist named Dave Fuzinski, and we did a show in Italy, in Genoa. We did a show in Genoa. 2 days after that show, I had to play the Hartford, Connecticut Jazz Festival, and we were playing with Gerald Veasley. It was back in Gerald Veasley. So I was playing bass with the bass player, right?
Nice.
All right, so I'm living in Boston at the time. Takes about 2 hours to get there.
Okay.
Right, that's a solid 2 hours right in between Boston and New York. Dwayne and I are at the airport. Flight gets canceled. Not delayed, canceled. Hey, they just, you know how you walk to the gate and they're just like, yeah, no.
You're not,
literally.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay. That window of time I had to get to that gig starting to get shorter and shorter and shorter. But I'm sure there's another flight later that day. No. All right, so I didn't get on the flight until the next day.
Oh.
Right, that
It's
window's
getting
all right, I literally made it from Boston Logan International Airport. I was playing drums, mind you, so I had to go home and get my bass.
Kit. Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, you had to get
I had to
the
go
bass.
home and get the bass.
Okay.
Then get in the car. I'm about 30 minutes away from the airport, and then get to Hartford, Connecticut. All right, it takes 2 hours. Hour and 15, I was walking out of the car, walking to sound check. Dude. After that gig, I literally slept in my car for like 3 hours. But I made it.
These are the Spinal Tap moments.
Oh, yeah.
Everything has it.
And then you have to pretend everything is okay.
Yeah. And like, no, I'm fine. I wasn't stressing out. I call that anachronistic travel. The closer you get, the closer you get, the longer it's taking you.
Yes.
You're getting closer, but then that time.
Anachronistic travel. I like that.
I don't know. That's
a song title.
It is.
We should do that.
It's on your next album.
Yeah, featuring Steve. Yeah.
No, you don't want to feature me. I'll be supporting role. I never want to be featured. Okay, real quick. So we want to do some drum stuff too.
Go for it.
Approach. I want to ask a question.
Go for it.
Approach from fingerstyle to slap. What is your approach? Changing pickups, all that kind of stuff. What do you?
My first thing is this. My sweet spot is right in between these pickups.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I know some people kind of go for the back
The
for that. Yeah, for like that Pino Palladino sound. Go for the neck pickup. But for me, it's right
That's
in
a sweet
between
spot.
that. And I want to say this is 70s spacing.
That is 70 spacing, 4 inches. Okay. So a little bit more mid-range, low mid.
Yeah.
Okay. Very Marcusy. Very Marcusy. So
now Marcus actually plays a little bit closer to here because he has the the pickup cover right there. So when he does play right in here, he's still leaning a little bit toward the back of that pickup. And then when he's really digging in, he's up here.
That's cool.
So,
and then going from finger to slap, same thing. Anything with preamp? Do you boost anything, or you kind of?
I'm kind of in this place now where I want as natural of a tone as possible.
I like it. Yeah.
You know how like on a jazz bass that just has the passive tone control.
Yes.
You can control the tone.
Yeah.
It's not really the highs, so to speak. It's just the tone.
Yeah.
And there's something about the slap tone that comes from that that's natural, right? It's not as harsh or as brittle as, let's say, an active preamp could get.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I normally, especially with this particular preamp, this is a Bartolini, I normally don't crank the highs up very much when I do slap.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds very like it sounds like a 70s jazz, which is great, and it's organic. And Bartolini, R.I.P. Bill. Yeah, but we love Bartolini pre's. They're so good. They just sound so natural. So
yeah, and there's just a little growl.
Yeah,
I like that. Just kind of.
That's
like
cool.
that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's see. Chase, great tone. I know. It's the.
Thank you, Chase.
It's the fingers, the soul. That's it. This is just a conduit. It's all him. It's all Alex, man. Sounds so good. All right. So how about drums? Let's switch. We could literally geek out for hours on all this stuff, but now,
somebody give me a key. I want the next person to give me any key.
Any
I
key,
want to
anybody?
play in a different key because I've been playing in C for no reason, and I refuse to play in E.
Okay, no E. Any key, anybody?
E.
Do we have a taker?
No. I tuned down a half. E for me is there. I can do E. I'll do E. No E flat.
Let's see.
How about that?
No E flat.
We're getting G.
G.
We're getting one sharp. G.
Got G. Got one sharp.
I'll take it.
That's awesome, man.
Just wrote another song,
dude.
Cool.
And it's going to be. We'll be able to see that. And you can extrapolate.
There it is.
The idea.
I'm gonna sample the whole. I'm gonna sample myself and then give myself writer's credit for sampling myself.
Yes. Can we get points?
business.
Can the three of us? Can Naomi and Time get
Absolutely.
points also?
Absolutely.
And Brad and Quinn and Jeff and John.
There it is. Yeah.
I just named the whole.
And the
royalties.
kids and everything.
And the
The
kids.
dog, Coco.
Oh, we had F sharp too, but we
F
played
sharp?
G. Oh, here F sharp.
We'll go to the 4.
Ooh. Whoa.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That's 2 songs.
That's 2 songs, exactly. We could do this forever, but I
really
think
How
it's
long
time
have we
for
been
the.
doing
I know we've been going for like a half hour, dude. You
Has it been
came
that
over
long?
to my place, and we like it was.
It was supposed to be like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like, oh, you're picking up this bass, cool.
Yeah.
No, we just nerded out.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
Steve is one of the kindest people I've ever met.
No,
All right,
come on.
This bass that I love so much, preamp. So I needed to get another preamp, whole thing. I needed a bass. I needed a good bass, right? And Steve let me borrow one of his basses.
Of course.
And I don't want to say it was better than this bass, but it was hard to give it back. I was just like,
Honestly, push come to shove, I just go here. I mean, I unless it has a sentiment. I mean, they're just material. You know what I mean? Like it's good material.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like
I
I
have
would rather.
one bass.
You have one. I have
one bass.
Yeah, but
Everybody should.
Yeah, but on that, it's like, man, I would just help somebody like here. You know, that's
Man.
it. We're support. So
Yeah.
we're supportive. Fender Man, that is so good. I know, right? Guitar Hero, that's super cool.
Guitar
Fun.
Hero, I love it. I
like it. All right, I think it is time for the next section. Next section, lightning round, is coming up now. Let's go. It is time for the lightning round. Yes, with Alex Bailey. So this is where we just go through and we just lightning round some questions.
Let's do it.
So let's do it. All right. Let's see. What was the first song you remember learning on drums? Ooh, I like that.
First, here you go. There's a saxophone player. His name is Sam Levine. Sam Levine did a Christmas record with a bunch of guys out of Nashville. The song is called Angels We Have Heard on High. The drummer is Bob Mater.
Okay.
Bob Mater. There's a drum solo. The dude had 2 chinas. I didn't have a video. I could just hear it. And his drum sounded like monsters. It was great.
He was just doing
Bob
this like
Mater.
cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Kind
Yeah.
of like China.
Oh, man. Yeah. Sam Levine. Brentwood Christmas jazz record. Something like that.
All right. We'll have to look it up. All right.
Check it out.
Let's see. If you could only pick one genre to play for the rest of your life, what genre would you pick?
Jazz.
Jazz.
And I would pick jazz because within that I can do whatever I want.
Oh, look at you. Look at that. Loopholes. Let's see. Who was your favorite artist when you were in high school?
The Yellow Jackets.
Dude,
The Yellow Jackets.
when you came in, I said, did you listen to Yellow Jackets' Four Corners
Oh, absolutely.
record? And I was like, dude, I hear a lot of that influence right here.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
so crazy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yellow
yeah.
Jackets.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
Especially that record, too. Yeah.
Check out Four Corners by Yellow Jackets. I think they played a game of, let's see if you can find one.
Pretty much.
That was like the whole, like the.
Actually, I don't know if that, I want to say that was the record either they all went to Africa or somebody went to Africa. And a lot of the rhythms that
Yes.
we think we understand, we really don't.
No.
And I didn't find that out until I went to Africa for the
Yeah.
first time. I was like, yes, I know where one, I don't know where one is.
Yeah,
Like
you don't
that
know.
sort of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are some challenges you have encountered in your career as a multi-instrumentalist?
Ooh. I would say whenever I'm playing one instrument, I don't get to play the other. I've been very fortunate, though, that for the majority of my career, I've been able to do both, right? So if I'm playing drums and I'm recording on bass, or if I'm playing bass, I'm recording on drums. And since I teach both, I'm usually pretty good. But that's the only thing, is that one day where you're like, man, I really want to play bass, or man, I really want to play drums, right? That would be the
It's a little.
challenge.
It's like, I want to play that one.
Yep.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who has been your favorite artist to work with?
Ooh. Me. Because anytime I get on my nerves, I can fire myself and then hire me again.
Do you yell at yourself?
Absolutely.
I love
Oh,
it.
man.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
You go full whiplash.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. Throwing a
Are
chair.
you rushing or dragging?
Rushing or dragging. But hopefully you don't slap yourself.
Yeah, no, that would be
That's-
kind of weird.
that's
I'm
a little
good.
weird.
That's not the bass, though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What is your favorite venue to perform in? Oh, you've played in so many rad places.
Ooh, okay. Favorite venue would be Jazz Alley in Seattle. That's today. But that was, I've always enjoyed it. It's a, I don't want to say intimate because it's not very small.
Okay.
But it was a really cool venue in that I could actually play the drums and be comfortable and not feel like I'm playing in a box.
Yeah.
And not feel like I have to raise the drumstick way up here.
And the room sounded good?
Room was great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That
room
makes
was
a lot
really
of difference, too.
Yeah,
When you have a good
yeah.
sounding room.
Yeah, because when you have a bad one, it sucks.
That's cool. All right. Which instrument took you the longest to learn?
You know what? They were both the same. I was doing them around the same. For me, playing bass became more of a personal thing. Pretty right around the time my brother, he graduated high school and they ended up moving to LA. And, excuse me, he was like, kind of like my best friend at the time, so I was like lonely.
Yeah.
But he gave me his bass. I'm like, all right, I'll just play bass. So for me, after like 8 o'clock or so, when drums are like way too loud, I'm playing bass. So it's kind of about the same.
Okay. All right. Where is the farthest you have traveled for a performance?
I went to, was it St. Petersburg?
Oh.
Yeah, went to Russia for like a 35, 40-minute performance.
Wow. For that.
Got on the plane and came right back. Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your favorite part about touring with Marcus Miller?
Standing in front of that dude's amp during sound check, watching him practice and play like he's never played before. Like he plays like a kid that's like, oh, I gotta play bass, yeah. And then it's like when he plays, he's so intentional about. I mean, you're talking about 70s, right? So when he really started doing his thing, he was in the 70s when everybody was playing jazz basses, which are known for not having sustain, right? Just like an upright. So every note he plays is like just every note. But just hearing him fly through them, it's like, it's stupid.
He's playing like he's a little kid.
Yeah,
He still loves it.
literally
Plays with
just-
passion.
And I'm like, dude, no. Just,
See, there's that envy.
right.
There's-
I mean,
we're-
yes, it's a great
We're
job.
we're checking off one of the evil
Right.
E's.
I'm failing
Alex,
right now.
no, not at all. What is your craziest gig story?
Craziest gig story. There's a lot of them. Another one of those. Another one of those stories. I was playing in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I had a flight that left Boston at 10 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I get a call from the musical director. It's like, hey, Alex, where are you? Oh man, I'm actually on my way to the airport right now. I'm gonna see you guys pretty soon. He's like, were you on this gig? He's like, yeah, the flight leaves at 10. It's like, no, the flight leaves Chicago at 10. Flight leaves Boston at 8. Said, I'll call you right back. I booked another flight somehow,
Right there.
rushing, doing everything I can. It's nuts. Layover, possible delays, like heart pounding, everything's great. So I get off the plane in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I get in the car, they take me to the venue, and I walked in sound check at the exact same time the artist did. And he says, hey, Alex, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. How are you? Yeah, good to see you.
So keep it cool.
The musical director's looking at me like this. And I pretended like everything was okay.
Yeah, you made it.
Of course.
You got to just pretend it.
Absolutely.
Pretend that, don't sweat the crazy stuff. Okay, Peter has a question. Pick or no pick?
No, depends on the situation, but if I can get the pick sound with this, I'm good.
Yeah. But it really is situational. That's
is.
what I always say, because there's great people that play with pick. I think if it fits the situation. Yeah. Seal, that's got to be Mark. Alex is the GOAT.
I'm going to see you very soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love Mark.
We do.
He's awesome.
He really is.
Watch his show on Wednesdays. Take the lead. He shreds. All right, I believe it is time for the amped up section where we get to watch Alex play.